Game Over Edmonton is broadcasting from the Game Over Network channel for the playoffs, but come 2024 in October, we're relaunching with our own channel. So for all of your Edmonton Oilers news, analysis, and fun, make sure you open the Game Over Network channel from this video, scroll past my ugly mug, and head on down to the Game Over Edmonton channel from our featured channels area. Click subscribe and make sure you ring that reminder bell to make sure that you get notified whenever we post something or go live.
I don't know about you Game Over fans, but I think I deserve this. Just so we're clear, this is not alcohol. This is a vanilla Coke. Matthew Nyes with the game winner, overtime winner, first overtime of the series from John Tavares, because who else, to keep the Leafs alive and fighting another day, because Goonies and Leafs never say die. Let's absolutely go. Welcome to Game Over Toronto. My name is Lauren. I almost threw up about 5 minutes ago when I was watching the overtime because I thought it was going to go the other way and I was going to have to come on here and be all collected, and I was not prepared for that. What a game. What a tight hockey game. What a showing from the Leafs, showing that they are, in fact, capable of playing well in the playoffs. Their power play continues to be being buried alive, but it doesn't really matter this game because they won anyway. So let's talk about it. I'm so glad that you're here. I'm so glad that we get to do at least one more Game Over Toronto. I'm so happy to have you. Please, if you could make sure you hit like and subscribe on this channel. And then I've already posted the link for the Game Over Toronto channel. This year we're doing Game Over the playoffs in all across Canada for all the teams that are in Canada that are in the playoffs still. We are doing it on the Game Over main channel, the main hub. But in October, when the seasons come back all across Canada, we are going to be having our own individual channels. So as Andrew told you at the beginning of this video when I posted that fancy little ad, please make sure you go and subscribe to the Game of Toronto channel. It would really go a long way. We need at least, an X number of subscribers to live stream next year, so it's super important. If you watch this video, if you enjoyed tonight's stream, please just go follow it. I promise we won't bother you until late in the summertime, and I would love nothing more than to have you around next year. So, let's talk about this game. Really quick. Go Leafs, go. That's from my buddy Curtis right there. Okay, so, to start off this game, big things. Austin Matthews out. We're not going to talk about, we're not going to conceive, and we're not going to speculate on what's going on. I'm just simply going to say he was not available for tonight's game. We hope that he is back for Game 6. We hope Bobby McMann is back for Game 6. I know that there was talk early in the series about how he might come around later in the series if we're still going. We're going to at least Game 6. So fingers crossed both of those guys are back. And more importantly, or maybe more importantly in the long run, if we look at the save percentage, Joseph Woll in for Ilya Samsonov, facing off against Jeremy Swayman. Tonight, oh my gosh, both goalies at both ends were unbelievable. Like, despite the fact that Swayman actually had a higher save percentage than Joseph Woll, what a game. What goaltending, what playmaking. The Leafs certainly got lucky a couple times with some of the Bruins not making good on some of their opportunities. But for the most part, the Leafs were playing far more responsible defensively. They were playing better offensively. They were smarter with their puck choices, with their passes, with everything. And it just seemed like they were a lot more well-rounded, and they showed up in a way that we've sort of been waiting for since Game 1. So let's get right into it. If obviously, like I said, if you could hit like and subscribe before we get going, really appreciate it. The Domi shot, right to start off the game. There was a really nice stick check by Timothy Liljegren. The line tonight, the main line that had, I'm going to say, the lion's share of chances, was a beautiful line of Mitch Marner, Max Domi, and Tyler Bertuzzi. I think when we all saw the practice lines, we were all a little bit, right? Like, if you didn't feel that way, then you're lying to me and yourself. And it's okay. Listen, Austin Matthews is usually the best goal scorer on our team. For him to not be available in a game that could potentially end the season, end the series, end the year for the Leafs, we were expecting it to be highly impactful, and it was. I mean, for the Leafs to be able to hold on to a 1-1 tie throughout this whole game, I mean, there was certainly a couple times where they looked like they could use a goal scorer just posted right in front of the middle, but I'm not going to complain about that tonight. I'm just happy that we're able to live and fight another day, and I get to do this for another day. Max Domi, let's talk about Max Domi to start off. Right from the beginning of the game, he was unbelievable in the face-off circle. If I had known that he was going to be that dominant, I would have said we should have put him on a different line in the middle a long time ago, because my goodness, he was completely Max dominant. See what I did there? And it was great. It was so good to see him going all game, and he was really as defensively responsible as we could have asked him to be. He didn't take any stupid penalties. It was really nice to see. And luckily and mercifully, the Leafs actually get on the scoreboard first. The first goal by a Leafs defenseman so far in this series. We're in Game 5. We have as many power play goals as we have defensive goals, which is not a great winning combination, but somehow we're not out. So let's take that as a win. His first career playoff goal. What a huge moment for him. I hope they got that puck for him. And super exciting. 5 minutes into the first period, there was a JT turnover right after that. Nyes had a really nice strip of the puck on Pasta. And there was a couple really nice shots. There was only 4-1 shots 10 minutes into the first period. It was a very low event hockey game, especially to begin, even though the Leafs were up 1-0. There was some really, really, really good opportunities for that top line tonight. There was more than one 2-on-1 that they missed on, I think at least twice or three times in the game. There was a breakaway with Max Domi and another player, and they weren't able to bury it. There was a really nice shot that was saved by Jeremy Swayman. Same thing with Morgan Rielly. It really felt like Swayman was really keeping the Bruins in it tonight. It was uncharacteristic, I would say, almost the way the Bruins were playing. I'm not complaining. But when the Leafs got the first goal, the Bruins seemed a little more shook than I've ever seen them be in a playoff game. I would normally expect, and so far in this series have expected, and so far they've been good about doing good on those expectations of scoring within, a couple minutes of the Leafs scoring a goal. The Leafs actually fought that off for several minutes, which was nice to see. There was a couple really nice chances by Nyes, by Rielly, which were saved by Jeremy Swayman, and then there was a goal that came in off a dump and chase by Trent Frederick with 6 minutes to go in the first period. The puck actually, so what ended up happening was there was a dump and chase. One of the Leafs got it, and they tried to clear it out of the zone. Hits off Maroon's stick right to the middle. Trent Frederick, bing, bang, boom, in the back of the net. And it's tied 1-1. To end the first period, there was a Leafs power play, which they didn't do well on, so they're 1 for 15 at that point. There was shots on shots and shots on shots to the end of the first period. The shots were 12-2 to end the first period. For the Leafs to be able to hold the Bruins off down to 2 shots on goal for the first period is unthinkable. Don't get me wrong, we were all hoping that they were going to show up on a more defensive way, but holy cannoli, that you did well, boys. You did well. Cheers. Because holding the Bruins to only 2 shots in the first period is like, you can't ask for more than that. You really can't. So, end of the first period, shots 12-2 for Toronto. Woll was 500 save percentage because the second shot of the game went in. But it's fine. He continued to make really good saves as the game went on. If you've watched this series, if it's your first time, welcome, happy to have you. If you have been here before, especially when Woll came back and when everything was happening toward the end of the season, Joseph Woll didn't look right after he came back from his injury. Ilya Samsonov, for the most part, was looking like the clear and away starter for the playoffs. He was and has been so far the clear and away starter for the playoffs, even though that hasn't necessarily gone the Leafs' way. Now, to end the third period, last game, he was pulled and Woll didn't allow another shot after that, which was great. Didn't allow a goal in the third period. He allows a goal in the first period of this game, but he shuts the door for the rest of the game. I'm not going to say that Joseph Woll stole that game because that's not really a thing that I believe happened. I think that the Bruins missed a couple of really good opportunities and that their puck luck just wasn't quite there on the deserve to win a meter today. But Joseph Woll was a huge part and maybe the biggest part of the Leafs win tonight. Unbelievable job from him. Unbelievable goaltending. He looks like we all wanted him to. He looks like we all know he can be. He looks like the goaltender that we were able to have for, smatterings of this season and last season. And for him to come in and play the game that he did tonight in a must-win situation, I have a whole lot more faith in Joseph Woll, and I feel a little bit better about where we are now. Now, again, it's one game, right? You can't, no one game is going to change everybody's mind on everything, but for the most part, they looked considerably better tonight. They looked considerably more confident, and Joseph Woll in net was really solid. He was making really good decisions. He had really good positioning. He was seeing the puck really well. He was making really good reads. That's all you can ask. Really, it's all you can ask of him, and he delivered, and it was so good to see. So we get into the second period, a Boston power play to start. Willie on the trip of McAvoy, 29 seconds in, the Leafs turn that off. Holmberg actually burns 20 seconds on the PK by himself, bringing the puck into the offensive zone, holding it there basically in a 3-on-1 situation, and is able to burn 20 seconds. Nylander gets out of the box, gets a really good chance, hits it off the post, and it goes wide. And then immediately, 20 seconds after that Toronto kills that off. They get another power play. Maroon on an interference call with 17:15 to go in the second. Jeremy Swayman, again, talk of the goaltenders this game. He had an unbelievable save on Morgan Rielly. We needed to put more shots on goal. It felt like in that power play there was a lot of passing. It felt like everybody was looking for Matthews and forgetting that he wasn't there. There was lots and lots of passes that were really good, but it just felt like they needed to put more on. But again, I'm splitting hairs. I mean, we all know that the power play is not good. The fact of the matter is they're 1 for 18 now on the series, and they're living to fight another day. This series is still 3-2. So if the fairy godmothers show up at the Leafs houses in the morning when they get back to Toronto and decide that the power play is now going to work, there's a good chance that the Leafs could totally fight their way back into this series and make a series of it. Not that it's not a series now, but you know what I mean. So, Joseph Woll has an unbelievable save on Boquist with 8:10 into the second period. There was another couple really good chances from that top line of Domi, Matthews, not Freudian slip, Domi, Marner, and Bertuzzi. And then the shots were 18-7 again in the second period, 10 minutes into the second period. Even though the Bruins were getting more opportunities and giving up a little bit more, it seemed like the Bruins were trying to cheat for offense a little bit as well. They were really trying to make something happen, and the Leafs were really playing unbelievable defensively and structurally. Ilya Lyubushin, probably his most important game as a Leaf. Jake McCabe, probably his most important game as a Leaf. Even Simone Benoit, even though he had a couple really bad reads, he's played really well this series as well. Again, I couldn't, even though we're still down the series, it's still 3-2. This game makes me feel so much better because it's not like it. Listen, if the Leafs had gone down and it was like 3-1 at the end of the first period, this would be a very different game over. With how this series has gone, with the injuries that we've had on and off, with the fact that no one was rested at the end of the season, there would be a lot sort of spewing out like bits of magma all over this living room. And so I'm just unbelievably grateful that this could be like a happier game over, because it doesn't feel like we've had a lot to celebrate so far in the playoffs. You know what I mean? Like we haven't had a win since game 2. And even though both of the Leafs wins have been by 1 goal, they're still struggling to produce offense. I'm just glad that we have something to get us through for the next couple days, because it really felt like the Leafs played as up to the standard that we've come to expect from them, honestly, through this season. So let's keep going. Domi has been, again, I wrote it twice here. Domi has just been dominant in the face-off. He gets it just wide. There was a really good chance by William Nylander. There's been a couple flurries at the net at this point. And then one of the best moments in the whole game, Nye's getting super lippy with Pasternak. Now listen. David Pasternak is a legendary goal killer. He has been quoted more than once in the media saying that he loves to score goals against Toronto. He just loves it. And he's very good at it. Him and his buddy Marchand are like, it's their pièce de résistance, is scoring goals against that. And so for Matthew Knies, who is still like very young, to be able to go up and Pasta is talking, and Matthew Knies goes, "Oh yeah, go me. Do you want to go? Go me." and Matthew Knies only has like a couple inches on him. That man, boy, like I can't be happier knowing that not only is he barely just in his second year as a Leaf, but the gap, the amount of growth that has happened between last year's playoff and this year's playoffs throughout the season and up till now, I am so happy with this player. He's going to be a huge part of the Leafs' future. He's going to be a huge part of what they need moving forward because he's not afraid to get into the dirty spots. He's not afraid to have big moments. I mean, he's had two of the biggest goals in this series so far. The game winner tonight, and then he had the diving goal over Swayman the other day as well. And it really feels like he's starting to come into his own. Again, it's only the first year. We all know that rookies can have a hot year and then fall off, but his style of play is really meshing well with the team. It's something we've needed for so long. And on top of that, he has offense too. It's not like he's just this big, I don't want to use that term, but just like this big stupid man like Ken doll that's like got a low IQ and is just like going around and knocking people's heads off. He makes really good reads, he makes really good plays. And tonight he gets the game winner in the reverse situation of what happened last year when the Leafs won the series against Tampa, where Tavares passes it to Knies. Knies passes it through over to Tavares again, and Tavares scores tonight. John Tavares assists on the game-winning goal, and Ilya Lyubushkin also getting a point on that, and we're going to get to that in just one quick second. But to end the second period, Toronto gets a power play. There was a Coyle roughing penalty, and of course the penalty that went to Marchand and Edmondson as well, so there was 4-on-4 to end the second period. And so we go into the second period. I mean, the shots were 21-12. The Leafs were still being very dominant, but Jeremy Swayman keeping the Bruins in the fight. And then the third period, Riley is stopped. He makes a really good opportunity. It finally gets cleared and killed. They're 1 for 17 at this point. Let's go Leafs. And the Leafs ice it 3:22 in. Wall makes an unbelievable save on Danton Heinen, that toe save. The Leafs cleared it right after that. There was a bunch of chances. There was a bunch of play. There was the play that was blown down because Wool's skate got all banjaxed. He goes to the bench, comes back, 13:38 to go. Leafs ice it. And then finally, the first time in this series that the gods have blessed us with a Marchand penalty. Marchand actually draws the penalty against Holmberg, who has got the body on him really well. He ended up actually making Marchand look a little bit silly. And then it was the 4-on-4 with 12 minutes to go. Both sides kill it. It really felt like the Bruins were trying to kill it more than the Leafs were, but the 4-on-4 was just as helpful as the power play, which isn't a great sign. But the Leafs really threw that, and after that, through the end of the game, were pushing responsibly. They weren't cheating for offense. They weren't compromising. Solid play for a small chance at a better one. They were playing sound, safe, and responsible, but good, opportunistic hockey. It felt like the more the game went on, the less they were trying to force getting set up, and they were willing to skate off the rush. As the game went on, it looked like their transition game was getting better and better as well. Mitch Marner had a very good first period. The second period wasn't great, but the third period, again, he was all over the puck. And Pontus Holmberg, again, coming in strong in the third period. Woll makes a huge toe save on Trent Frederick with 7:30 to go to keep it tied at 1-1. The Bruins were pushing like crazy for the last few minutes. I was almost throwing up on my couch because I was so anxious at that point. I was so tense that like old injuries are now a bit sore because I was just absolutely clenching everything all at the same time. There was a really nice save that Jeremy Swayman made on the 2-on-1 on Domi and Bertuzzi. Now that, before we go any further, let's ruminate on that a little bit. That 2-on-1 that happened, Domi gains the zone, and he's staring at Bertuzzi the whole time, and he's doing the like happy feet. Like that's how I would describe it, as like the happy feet. Back forth, and then he passes it. It gets cut off. I gotta push it. I gotta give it to the Bruin there. He got it. He got in the lane pretty well. And then, I mean, the face-off dot, again, at that point, Domi is 11 for 13 against Trent Fredericks, 2 for 5. Mitch stops a really good pass that almost was a really good outscoring opportunity for the Bruins with 3:20 to go. There's a shot that John Tavares makes with 2:04 to go, and then Marner gets a clear with 90 seconds to go. They finish it off. Go into overtime, tied 1-1. I mean, the last 20 minutes, that last 15 minutes of that game, really, it felt like the next goal was going to win because the goaltending was so tight all game, which never thought I would appreciate, but considering the series that so far the Leafs have had, I will take some boring defensive boa constrictor hockey if it means that we have a better opportunity to win. And then, of course, the first OT of the series, Nylander clears a really good chance. There was a very good clear that both Wall and Nylander had right after that. And then Matthew Knies 2:26 in from John Tavares, from Ilya Lyubushkin to keep the Leafs alive for another day. I was so relieved to see them not lose in 5 games. I mean, hey, there's a chance. Let's be honest, everybody. If you're here, welcome to Game Over Toronto. My name is Lauren. The Leafs have a very poor losing record at home this year. Lots of last year in the playoffs. Not so great at home. I don't know what it is. Maybe like the music's better in these other arenas. Maybe the Leafs just need like a different music setup, because I've been to a bunch of Leaf games. They play the same soundtrack every time. There's no change. Maybe going to all these different places and being a little bit uncomfortable is good for them, because it seems like when it comes to playing at home, they really struggle. And I don't know what kind of magic, silly voodoo-ness is happening that's causing that. It's like Toronto Water has the yips no matter where else they play. It's fine. It seems inexplicable. I mean, it also seems inexplicable that at this point in the series, we're going to go to Game 6 and the Leafs have 1 power play goal in their last 18 power plays. Like that's almost like a 5% power play rate. I don't know if can someone please look up what's the worst power play percentage of a team in the playoffs? Like in the first round that gets out. Because it's unbelievable that despite the fact that the Leafs have only scored 1 power play goal in this whole series, which again just seems impossible, that they're still alive. They're going to go to Game 6. They're coming back Thursday night. It'll be here in Toronto. We hope that Matthews is back. I mean, at that point, it'll basically have been 5 days since he left the end of the game. Maybe he won't be. We'll play well without him, hopefully, if he is out. There's a chance that we get Bobby McMahon out. There's still a lot in play. I would imagine after tonight's game that there's no question that Ilya Samsonov will be keeping the bench nice and warm on Thursday. Now that we know that it's going to go to Game 6 after that game tonight, I don't think that there's a question that you can start anybody other than Joseph Woll for Game 6. He is the only person that's been able to make saves for the Leafs in the playoffs last year and this year really successfully. And so you have to imagine that that's where it's going to be. You have to imagine that that's where it's going to be. Let's really quickly, I'm going to do a quick little ad read here for Game Over Calgary. Like I said, now that we are going to be doing Game Over, we're relaunching as you're aware. We've had to start over. We're starting ourselves. We actually just got incorporated very recently. So exciting for all of us here. And, it would go a long way if you would be able to, especially for the Game Over Toronto. I don't really care so much about like Montreal, but obviously any one of the streams that you could subscribe to, it would really help out. Make sure you hit like, and let's have a quick word from my friend Peter Klein.
Game Over Calgary is relaunching in October. For all your Game Over Calgary content, make sure you subscribe to our Calgary-specific YouTube channel. Open the Game Over Network YouTube page in a new tab from this video, scroll past Andrew talking, and click on the Game Over Calgary channel in our featured channel section. Click subscribe and make sure you hit the drop-down menu to get notified when we post videos or go live. Tell all your Flames fan friends and family to check it out and join our awesome community. And make sure you smash the like button on this video right into oblivion.
Deep breaths, everybody. Now that we know that we'll all be able to sleep a little bit easier, knowing that the Leafs get to fight another day on Thursday, I couldn't be more relieved. Let's go to the chat real quick. Whole bunch of people here. Happy to see you. Happy to have you. Please make sure you hit like and subscribe. Dodge's Roadkill. I mean, that's quite the nickname. That line was dominant, but nobody will shoot. You know what's sad? I don't even need to know. I don't even need you to tell me what line you're talking about, because I know what line you're talking about. That top line tonight, considering how good they were in the faceoff dot, they did not have a very high shooting percentage. They seemed like they were getting a lot of good opportunities. It seemed like they were really, the whole team seemed more willing to take shots from far away and try to scoop up a rebound, which is great to see. I mean, we need more of that. They were trying to do that in the last couple of games, but they haven't been overly successful. Tonight, they were doing a really good job of it, and considering their highest paid player isn't in the game right now, that's all you can really ask. I imagine that if it's anywhere within the realm of possibility for the Leafs to have Matthews play, that he will. But let's be real here for a second, okay? Between you and me. Do you really think that if it was up to Austin Matthews that he would be out right now and not whatever's ailing him, that he would choose to be off the ice and not there battling with his team for the thing that they all dreamed about playing in their driveways growing up, no matter what state, what country, what province, what town they were from? Any NHL player dreamed of playing in the playoffs and winning a series with a goal. Any single one of them. If you ask any of them, they all had that dream. And Austin Matthews is just the same as all of them. He wants to win too. And I don't imagine that there is anything on this earth that he would willingly let himself keep out of the playoffs if it was something that he had a choice on. We don't know what the injury is. We don't know what the problem is. We may never know. And to be totally honest, it's not our business. It's not our business. It's not our call. It's not even really our concern. Unless you're a part of the Leafs management team, the Leafs coaching staff, the Leafs medical staff, the health and safety of the players on the team that we love is not our business. And as much as I'm a nosy Leafs fan, and as much as I would love to know what's going on, and to know the timeline, and to know when he's having scans and updates, and be able to be on the mailing list for that information, it's not how it works. It's not how it should work. And anybody that says, well, he's just not feeling good, and Nylander with the headaches, just please don't. Okay, these are professional athletes, and yes, they don't get paid for the playoffs. You're right. They don't. But they all play that hard for free to try and win. And the Leafs haven't won more than a single round in the entire existence of the Shanna plan. In the entire tenure of our favorite players that are currently on the team, they have done nothing more than win 4 games in the first round. And they all know that it's going to take more than that. And they all want to commit, and they all want to do everything that they can to do that. And none of them would willingly sit out if they thought that sitting out would be a detriment to their team on purpose and that they had any choice. So, hopefully everybody that's injured is back. If they're not, we are going to continue to wish them well and hope that they recover and are back as quickly as they are able to, safely and healthily, so that there is no long-term effects. I know enough people, which isn't many, I know enough people that have chronic pain to not be someone that says, just play through the injury. Oh, well, Draisaitl got how many goals and assists the other year when he had a high ankle sprain? And Bergeron played through a broken sternum and a punctured lung. We need to stop the martyrdom and the self-sacrificing lamb at the altar of hockey. It's not good. We should never be wishing for other... What happens if you go online and you decide that you're going to say, this player's jersey always rides up. It's too bad no one could give him one of those handy cuts on the arm. That's an insane and psychotic thought. And to say basically the same thing about, I just want a player that may have an injury that is not my business to understand. To be able to say that and be like, well, I should know what the problem is. It's a mystery to me, so I don't like it and I want to know what it is. It's fine to want to know what it is. It's not our business. It's not our problem. It's not our problem to solve, and it's not our job to get that lined up. Let's just do what we can to be excited about the fact that maybe they will come back. That would be great. Wouldn't that be great? It would be great. And I hope that they're back. I hope that both of them are back. That would be lovely. But I also am not of the belief that it is my right as a fan to know the health and safety status of someone that I have no familial relation to. Maybe that's just because I work in security and so I understand what privacy laws mean. But it's insane to be like, we should know what it is. No, we shouldn't, because regardless of what the injury is, someone online is going to be like, well, Zeke should play through that. In my opinion, I had that once and it wasn't that bad. Let's not do that. Okay? Let's all take a deep breath in. Be grateful for the fact that the Leafs are going to be back on Thursday. Be grateful for the fact that there's a chance that some of our guys are going to be back. Wouldn't that be great? And if not, well, we know that they're able to play without them just fine. And sometimes they even get a win. Now, it was hard. It was a tough game. It was stressful. I'm sure we're all feeling a little bit relieved that it's done and that we know that they didn't get rolled and that there wasn't a handshake line at the end of that game. I could not be more relieved that we're living to fight another day. And I hope you feel the same. Let's get back to the people in the chat. Jean Simard, I hope it's Jean and not Jean. Either way, welcome. As a Habs fan, I'm rooting for the Leafs because I just hate Boston too much. I can appreciate that. I don't really like the Habs. I have a lot of respect for the level of commitment that they have to their alumni and to their fans. And I like that Montreal fans are happy to not go to a game if their team is sucking. I think that's really great because no matter how bad the Leafs are, everybody goes. So I agree. When it comes to the Boston Bruins, there is basically nobody that I won't be a fan of, with the exception of maybe a couple of teams that I won't mention because someone will troll those later down the line. Keith had a horrible home playoff record, something like 4-13. I think it's actually 4-16. If I remember correctly, I think it's actually 4-16. Luke Venables. Luke, happy to have you, buddy, as always. 5 teams got a 0.0 PP success on 18 plus opportunities. They include, that's a tough list to be a part of. They include Buffalo, San Jose, and LA. That's in the postseason from StatsMuse. Thanks, Luke. Appreciate that, bud. Leafs 1-18 on the power play so far. Going to game 6, back in Toronto. Thank goodness. Matthew Nyes with the overtime winner. Beautiful pass from John Tavares. Ilya Lyubushkin. Boys got it done tonight. We're going to be back in Toronto. I will be back on Thursday for Game Over. I hope you join me. I've been so happy to have you here. Make sure, like I said, for the 100th time in this stream, make sure you do hit like and subscribe. Please go subscribe to the Game Over Toronto channel. I will repost it in the chat right now. That's me. And thank you for coming. Go Leafs, go. Leafs in 7, baby. Come on. Thursday. And then Saturday. Is this where the tide turns? We will find out. Have a great night. Happy to see you. Go Leafs, go.